Have you ever watched a movie and a scene just hits you? It sticks with you, and you can't quite explain why. Well, today we're going to pull back the curtain on exactly how that magic is made. We're going to build a cinematic scene right here from the ground up.
So let's start with just an idea. A blank canvas. A man, completely alone, pitted against the elements. In filmmaking, the setting is often its own character. And this one, it's immense, it's beautiful, but it is totally unforgiving.
And here he is, our character. We can see he's struggling, he's on this incredibly difficult journey, but for us, the audience, to really care, to connect with him, we need to feel his struggle, feel his exhaustion, and most importantly, feel that little spark that keeps him pushing forward. And that's the real challenge, right? No dialogue. So how do we do it? The answer is the language of cinema itself. We're going to use every tool in the box, light, lenses, color, and sound, to tell a story that's all about pure emotion. Okay, first things first, we have to start with our foundation, and that is light. The time of day we choose to film this thing is going to completely change how it feels. This is our very first and maybe most important brushstroke. We're going to shoot this during what filmmakers call the golden hour, and it's not a long time. We're talking about a super brief window. Maybe 25 minutes right after sunrise or just before sunset. It just gives you this beautiful, warm, and automatically cinematic light. And listen, this isn't just about making a pretty sunset picture. This specific kind of light creates these long, dramatic shadows. It carves out the texture in the sand on our character's face. It makes the desert feel both stunningly beautiful and incredibly harsh, all at the same time. And this isn't some niche trick. This is a technique used by the absolute masters. But it's not easy. To get those breathtaking results you see in a movie like The Revenant, they would spend the entire day planning and rehearsing just to make those 25 minutes absolutely perfect. All right, so we've got our light. Now let's talk about the camera itself. The lens we pick is our next huge decision. It's literally going to define how the audience sees our character and his relationship to this massive world. So to really drive home just how small and isolated this guy is, we're going to start with a wide-angle lens. This lens is incredible because it just drinks in the entire environment. It sees everything. I mean, just look at that. That one single image tells you so much of the story. He's just a tiny speck. The wide frame immediately screams vulnerability, loneliness, and the absolutely epic scale of what he's up against. All of that with no words needed. Okay, so we've established his world on the outside, the physical part of his journey. But now we've got to get inside his head. We need to feel his internal battle. And to do that, we switch to a completely different tool, a telephoto lens. What this does is it basically erases that massive desert behind him and forces us to focus on one thing, his face. Now we can see the cracked lips, the sweat, but we can also see that fire, that determination deep in his eyes. So our character isn't just walking aimlessly, right? He's being driven by something, a memory. And we can show this to the audience visually by using flashbacks. And we're going to use color as our signal that we're jumping through time. We'll use color grading to draw a really clear line. The present day is going to have those harsh, high contrast, burnt orange tones. It feels real. It feels brutal. But the flashbacks, those are going to be bathed in this soft, warm, super saturated light. It's going to feel dreamlike, full of love and longing. And we can add one more little touch to those flashbacks. A subtle layer of film grain. It's a simple trick, but it makes the image feel less like a perfect, clean digital video and more like a physical memory, something you can almost reach out and touch. And now we're at the climax of the scene. He just can't go on. He collapses. He's clutching a small child's bracelet. And then he sees something, a figure in the distance. This is where the acting and the camera work have to become one. When we're this close, every tiny detail of the performance is magnified. We're not just watching him anymore. We are with him. We're feeling his despair. And then that sudden, almost impossible flicker of hope in his eyes. Even the way his breathing changes tells an entire story right there. To capture that dizzying, is this real moment when he sees the figure, we're going to pull out a classic filmmaking trick. You've definitely seen it in movies like Jaws or Vertigo. It's called the dolly zoom. Oh man, it's such a powerful effect. The camera physically moves in, but the lens zooms out, and it makes the background warp and stretch around him. It visually puts you right into his head. It's the feeling of the world shifting on its axis, and you're feeling it right along with him.
We are so close. The scene is shot, it's in the can, but now it's time for the final polish. A few last touches that are going to take this from a collection of shots to a truly immersive experience.
Every single one of these elements is absolutely crucial. The frame rate that makes it feel like a real movie, a soaring musical score that builds with his hope, and the sound design. Hearing the wind, the crunch of sand, maybe even his own heartbeat. All these things work together so that you don't just watch the scene, you feel it. And there you have it. That's how it's done. Once you understand how light and lenses and color and performance and sound all speak to each other, well, you can turn any idea into a powerful story. These aren't just technical things. They're the words, the grammar, the poetry of filmmaking.